The podcast is changing. I feel it in the air. I feel it in the air. Welcome to the American Forked Podcast, Lord of the Rings edition, right?
Yep. Yeah, live long and prosper.
Yeah. We've got Jeff with us. I'm Phil. This is Jeff.
I'm
already mad I'm here.
And we brought a Middle-earth expert on the show tonight. His name is Mike.
Hello.
Hi, Mike.
What's up, Mikey?
I've returned.
Mike, I'm going to apologize in advance
beyond.
for my ignorant comments because I don't know Lord of the Rings like you do.
That's all right. Well, here's the thing. I have just watched the movies and remember them.
Oh.
That's really the extent of my expertise.
Well, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum, so.
You've watched
I've seen
movies.
them, but I've seen so many episodes of like Dog Cat and
there's just not room for anything else.
It's all
Bluey.
filed out. Yeah, so many episodes of Bluey.
That's worth it though. Like Bluey's quality.
You can watch Bluey over and over again.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're a podcast. We're friends. We've been friends forever. We disagree on everything about life in general, but we're still friends, and we're here today to talk Lord of the Rings. But first, we're going to run through a little news, because there's some interesting things going on right now.
Okay.
Do you understand?
No. That's what I always say.
Okay. So, have you heard of this guy, Ron DeSantis?
Isn't he like the Amazon delivery of human beings?
Pretty much.
Is that what's happening right now?
Pretty much. He's just like shipping them all over the country.
Airmail.
So
I actually don't know the details other than he's literally taking immigrants to.
He's the governor of Florida.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And I think he's pretty much shipping illegal immigrants. Is that right? To like other parts of the country. Martha's Vineyard.
It sounds a lot like kidnapping.
Or like human trafficking.
Yeah, it sounds like that too.
It's like, what do you do? Like the drug lords like traffic the people across the border, and then the governor of Florida picks them up.
He's finishing the job.
Yeah.
He's like the rest of the coyote.
Taking them to Uncle Joe.
Getting them to their destination.
Yeah, pretty wild. So that's happening. I guess a bunch went to Martha's Vineyard. A bunch went to Chicago. Something like
Why
that.
Chicago?
Or Illinois. I think
Illinois.
I think it literally was because he said he wants to send them to like Democrat-run states.
Okay.
It's kind of a dick move. Like, I don't care what your political scene is. Like
these people that probably don't understand quite what's going on, and then there's like, hey, just get in this plane.
But it doesn't make me. It's funny because I think differently that I think a lot of people. It doesn't make me disgusted at Republicans or Ron DeSantis. It makes me disgusted at the whole game. Like if the NFL, like one team and one player did something, if it's big enough of a problem, you're like, really? Is that the game we're playing now? That's how I feel right now.
Are you talking about the concussions in the NFL?
No, I'm talking about the
I
fact
don't get
that,
the NFL thing.
Well, what I'm saying is, even though it was like one team in the NFL that did something stupid, for some reason, I'm not just upset with that team. I'm upset at the whole game politically.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm just kind of.
You also be upset with that team, though.
Yeah,
like the people that
that's
actually
fine.
did it.
Yeah,
I get,
but I'm sick and tired of the game. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I see the point he's maybe trying to make, where he's maybe saying, well, up in New York or Massachusetts, it's not. You guys are saying, oh, this problem, just be fine with it. But we're down here on the border, blah blah blah. But the funny part is, I'm actually hearing now that these people weren't even in Florida. Apparently, they were in Texas. So he like shipped them from.
Buy them? Like,
He
how
like
does that work?
he shipped them. Well, he claims. So I saw like a news interview with him. He's like, "Oh, everyone's saying they didn't know where they're going. Blah blah blah. We handed each of them a packet in Spanish. It said where they were going, all the stuff, and they signed. Yes, I'll go there." He's claiming. So I don't know. So maybe it actually is helping them if they're like getting closer to where they want to be.
What would have happened if they didn't sign it?
if they didn't, then that would be like straight up trafficking, right?
Well, I mean, if they were like, I'm not going to sign this, and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I guess you can stay here.
Well, and that's the weirdest thing about this is like,
I don't think it's the weirdest thing, but go on.
well, I'm just saying, like, what authority does a governor have to move around migrants, even if they're here illegally? Isn't that a federal issue? Like, can you just start as a governor, just like take charge with that and start? I don't know.
I haven't read that part of the Constitution.
Oh, where governors can traffic people wherever they want. Yeah,
Just to make political.
I thought it was pretty wild. The furthest I thought this political point ever should have gone is, oh yeah, Massachusetts. Well, what if we just ship them up there?
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah,
like,
the end.
Like a empty threat.
End of
You made
list.
your point.
Like maybe you should think about
Right.
this.
Yeah, but he actually started doing it. So pretty wild.
It is wild.
And they're apparently one of the sheriffs in Florida has actually opened a criminal investigation. I don't know what that means. If
You don't know
sheriffs-
you don't know what a criminal investigation
Well,
is?
I don't
I'm
know.
with Jeff here.
I don't know if the sheriff like.
Let's start with the word criminal.
I don't know how much authority a sheriff has to investigate a governor. I guess maybe.
At the same amount.
I guess
If he lives in the county,
if it happened in his jurisdiction,
Yeah.
I guess.
Let-
But if they were in Texas, see, I don't know. It's wild. I would think that'd be a federal thing.
so
Like,
I
the
agree.
FBI would have to investigate.
I agree that it may be a federal thing, but like now I'm wondering if maybe the sheriff in Texas should investigate criminal charges against the Florida governor.
yeah, there you go. That makes more sense.
That's
to
in the
me.
Constitution.
Here's what I understand is that if you declare an emergency, you can do whatever you want.
Is it an emergency? Is that what he said?
I'm sure they can figure it out.
Oh,
I bet the word's been
COVID.
said during this whole thing.
COVID, it's a crisis at the border.
What's this?
anyway, God bless those people. I hope they're where they want to be. Oh, that's the COVID jar.
If you
You
bring
haven't
up,
listened to any episode in like 77 episodes.
I'm showing it to the
If
guy
you-
that just said it.
if you, I have to put money in there, huh? All I have is a penny that you gave me.
You can't put that in there. No.
I have it right here. Like,
Don't
that's
put it in the
actually the
jar.
best place for me to keep it.
I actually have credits in there. I think I put like 100 rubles in there.
You're prepaid.
Yeah,
Oh, and I've got some more lottery
Jeff,
tickets.
don't.
Put
I
in
gave
there.
Jeff a 96-year-old penny,
it's
Today.
true, and it's still worth.
and he wants to put it in the COVID jar now.
I think my rubles. I haven't checked to see where rubles are at, but I think they've gone up in value a little bit.
Speaking of COVID, though. Oh, that is some rubles.
Yeah, nice.
I think people are wiping their butts with these in Russia now.
Speaking of COVID, President Biden apparently in an interview with some news person said that COVID is over.
Yay! Well, he said we're still going to be dealing with it. There's still challenges. We're going to.
Oh, you saw it? What'd he
Well, I
say?
heard it, that snippet.
Oh.
But if you notice, he says something like, if you notice, people aren't wearing masks, people aren't being so whatever. He basically said it's done with, but we're going to have to deal with it forever.
Oh.
I don't know what that means. The pandemic's done. And it'll probably be more like the flu. Like the flu is something we have to deal with as a society, and we get shots for it, and people,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
it's going to be around.
it'll be around.
Fauci apparently is not a fan of what Biden said.
Oh, really? He's like, that's not true. Well, I looked up the stats like I used to like a year ago, back when I like cared about COVID.
Yeah.
And they still look like, actually, in the last couple days, it's been way down. Like there was a day just a couple days ago, I think there were no recorded deaths in the United States. And then it went back up to like in the 30s or 50s.
Yeah.
But there's still several thousand cases coming in per day. I don't know.
Dare I say that it's kind of unpopular now, and
Nobody
coming
cares
up on the
about COVID.
elections, it's like, do people really want to be debating over COVID? And I don't know. I think they're trying to just be done with it before the election times come up.
It's been, I think, hard for a lot of people. And whatever you believe about it, it's been hard for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
COVID. Well, yeah. I mean, people have had a hard time with COVID, right? Not just the disease, but like the social
Yeah.
uproot, I guess, that it caused,
Yeah.
like the anxiety, like
Yeah.
staying at home.
I just had parent-teacher conference, and you know what one of my teachers said? Or one of my teachers, one of my daughter's teachers said, they said, since COVID, the classroom engagement has just tanked.
Yeah.
Like people don't know how to engage in the group activity of a classroom, like volunteering and raising their hand and asking for help and all those things. It's almost like everyone's just gone so far into their bubble. And obviously that's in a high school class setting, but like I'm sure that expands out into many settings, you know, work and.
Well, when we had Sarah Beeson on, what was she saying? Like 10% of the students in Alpine School District never came back to school.
They're still not back?
Yeah, they're like people just, they don't know where they are. They're like 10% of the student population isn't accounted for.
I should probably listen to these podcasts more.
Yeah, you should.
They're great.
Yeah.
I think you're mixing it up with LA County.
Oh, that's right.
LA County is still missing like 55,000 students, which is like 10 or 12% of their student body. Yeah. Just stop showing up. They don't know where they are. They're all gone.
What's the Alpine School District?
That's right. And
it's a problem, but she didn't give a statistic.
Oh, it's a problem here too.
Yeah,
I think that's
it is.
Yeah, okay.
People are just joining the circus and they're just traveling as carnies and making a living.
My theory is they're doing like what we do at church, which is now they have church online. So like if you don't wake up on time, you can just like roll onto your couch, flip on church on YouTube.
I think like most people, they switch careers. So they're like, I'm not a high school student anymore. I'm a Twitch star.
It was the Great Resignation.
Yeah. They're like, I quit as an 11th grader.
Yep. For higher salary.
I'm a YouTuber now.
Influencer.
I'm an influencer. Watch me twerk on the beach.
I think it's a good move. Every time you do that, you make more money.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
That's what I always say.
Well, thanks, Biden, for taking us right out of that.
Yeah, now we're done. That's actually pretty good.
With the gavel? Bang. It's over.
The end.
I declare this over.
I actually kind of appreciate somebody like coming out and saying it.
Yeah, I do too.
Someone's got to at some point. Like you said, it's going to go on forever. But as far as like worrying about it, let's just be like,
and we're done.
Yeah.
Here's a fun thing that happened because of at my work.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to come in if we're sick anymore. Just no matter what it is.
All.
Any kind of sick?
If you're sick, just stay home.
Oh.
And work from home, or
well, if you can work from home, yeah. But
if you're
they
too
just
sick,
want you to work from home or just stay home.
Oh.
Like you can call in sick still, but you can all call in. I've got the black.
I've got the black lung.
Yeah. Just call in and say, I don't want to get you guys sick. And they're like, yes, please, thank you. Please don't come in.
Where before it was like, get in here.
Yeah.
You've got the flu, just cough over that way.
Yeah, cough in your shoulder.
Yeah.
At the guy that's sitting 3 feet away from you.
Yeah. And then everyone got the flu all the time.
That has been nice because I've thought that should be a common practice.
Yeah.
Most places that you work.
Yeah.
Like maybe even everywhere.
Yeah, maybe.
It's interesting, and this is one of the problems I'm having is the different organizations having different rules. Like church says one thing, and then school says this thing, and then the families believe in this and whatever, right? My kids sent out a document from their school that said, if you don't have diarrhea, you're not throwing up, or have a fever, you can come into school. So if you have a cough, but no fever, throw up, or diarrhea, you can come in. Because that was their criteria of like, if you don't have these things, then you're not contagious. And obviously, they probably talked to attorneys and doctors and figured out some kind of criteria to come up with. But
I feel like you're putting a little, like, giving them too much credit.
I hope they did, because just the CYA, to cover their ass. I mean, it's a big school district, so.
Well, speaking of COVID-related things, federal authorities on Tuesday charged 47 people in what they described as the country's largest COVID-19 funding scam, alleging an elaborate Minnesota-based operation stole at least $250 million in federal funds meant to feed needy children, but that went instead to buy cars, luxury goods, jewelry, and property in the United States, Kenya, and Turkey.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a big deal, I guess.
So that's people scamming the COVID relief funds?
Yeah, it's this big nonprofit, and there are 47 people in their organization that are have been indicted, I guess. So
I don't want to sound too much like a jerk, but if you're a big place like America and you open up the checkbook and say, come on, you're basically inviting that to happen.
Yeah.
Unless you take some time to set up programs that are very precise, and if you just open the checkbook and start throwing money out.
The COVID stuff was pretty quick.
It was crazy quick.
Well, it's a problem.
We can expect it in any anywhere.
I was going to say you can expect it in government anyway, but we can all agree the COVID thing was just like, let's open that checkbook wide up and just go because we need to get money in people's hands, which there was some wisdom to that, I think. If you're going to force people to stay home, you gotta do something.
Yeah, they got to be able to buy food.
So they opened the floodgates, but of course, some people are sitting by like, oh, the floodgates are open. Let me get my buckets or my mobile swimming pool. In this case,
remember when we had a mobile swimming pool, Phil,
in the back of Jeff's truck?
Yep.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, didn't you just put a tarp in the back?
Yeah, put a tarp back there, filled it with yeah, we did that. We also had a waterbed bladder. We were driving down the road and someone was just put a waterbed on the curb, and so we took the bladder and put it in the back of the truck.
I don't think I was
filled
there
it
for
up. It was great. Both of them were in suspensions.
We haven't talked much about this Trump thing going on, but he was granted a special master, which is like a secondary judge or a third-party judge, I should say, that's going to review all the documents and decide what is like personal stuff and what the prosecutors can go through. But interestingly, he asked today, he asked the Trump team, well, I need to know how this was declassified because I need to know what's actually classified and what isn't.
Right.
And his team fired back and said, well, we're not telling.
That's not
if it was classified
that's
or
not
not.
suspicious.
So
Don't be suspicious.
apparently what they're saying is if we tell you, because in court, when you're in court, you have to divulge everything like to both sides, like to the judge and to the opposite
it's called,
side.
Discovery.
Right, discovery. So they're claiming that if we tell you how it was declassified, we're actually giving you our defense before we've even been charged. So that's their reasoning. But I'm thinking, well, how's the special master going to do anything if he doesn't know?
So I think what he's special master in this case, I applied to be a special master at one point in time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't get it.
Oh.
Another.
What is that? Like when you see the free special masters class, just sign up here, give us your email address.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you just like raise your hand. And it's like
a traffic court.
They give the first person get a high five.
Who wants 50% off their traffic ticket? Go right to special masters.
It's like a carnival game. You hit these 3 milk bottles down, you get a free special masters class.
So the idea is to save on costs, get somebody that hopefully both sides trust. You can save on costs. It's a little bit less adversarial as well. Honestly, I think it's a good idea for this particular case, as long it's this non-biased person. That's
Yeah.
the idea. And but the person, he's supposed to go through it. The special master is supposed to go through it and decide, this is personal. This should be redacted, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He kind of needs to know what should be redacted. If it's classified material, it should be redacted. But if they're not going to tell him, I guess he's just going to give it all.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's weird.
I don't know what he's going to do. It's interesting. It does make me think, though, going back to the Hillary thing, why there wasn't such a person in that case. Like, because she just decided herself what to take out and what to give to him.
Not really.
Oh, I thought she just said, here you go, but I've taken everything out that...
Kind of, because there's everything got wiped, right? That was the... But what they ended up doing was just going to the people that she'd sent things to. And they... my understanding is they pretty much compiled all the data.
Everything she had.
By going to the other people that had the data.
Gotcha.
Instead of just getting it from her. And that's also discovery.
That makes sense. So
Donald should have had a bonfire, sounds like.
And they would have been deleted.
Then they would have been deleted.
Well, apparently there are lots of folders marked classified that are empty.
So maybe he did.
So that could
or
mean...
maybe he had a fire sale.
A fire sale?
A fire sale.
Fire for sale.
That's Arrested Development.
I don't get it at all.
I know.
I'm
trying to help.
you.
No, but it could mean that he went through and chucked stuff in the garbage, but it could also mean that in the White House or whatever, they're like, oh, this has to stay here. And the folder went.
And they kept
but
the
I
folder.
want the folder.
Just
Look, it says
to remember it
classified.
by.
It's super cool. I'm never going to get one of these in my life again.
So anyway, that's what's going on with that. And then I have one more story. This one's actually pretty exciting.
Nice.
Adnan Syed
Oh, I thought it
was just freed from jail, and he's awaiting a new trial.
Is this the serial guy?
The Serial guy.
Ooh.
So the Serial podcast, remember the first season? That's actually the only one I've listened to.
I haven't listened to it at all.
That guy, so back in his high school, he allegedly killed his girlfriend, but the Serial podcast kind of investigated and thought that it wasn't. I thought this was really strange because I was under the assumption, as soon as I heard this story, I'm like, oh, there must have been like 7 more seasons on Adnan Syed, because I listened to that whole first season, which is apparently all the other seasons aren't about him at all.
Yeah, different people.
And at the end of that season, I was like, okay, what is this? This is nothing. You've provided nothing to make me think, is he innocent? Is he guilty? At the end, they're just like, well, we don't know. Maybe he's guilty. Maybe he's innocent. That was my takeaway, but I don't know. What do you think?
I didn't listen to it.
Oh, you didn't? Did you, Jeff?
I'm pretty sure you'd have to cue in some details about this. Did he just murder the one girl, or was he a serial killer?
No, it was just his girlfriend. So the Serial podcast is like one of the most
true crime podcasts where they investigate
popular podcasts. It's like one of the top downloaded podcasts ever.
I'm almost positive I've listened to it. I just don't remember the details. I know his name.
So it was pretty much like they're kind of alleging in the podcast that he got canned more as like a racist thing. He
got just like hammered with not so much evidence and coerced and all that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
and he didn't have a great lawyer or defense, and they just kind of shoot him right into jail. Well, this podcast went around and talked to all these people, and it kind of made the whole thing sound more wishy-washy. Like, well, did he do it? And they're like, well, he was here, and I don't know. And it made the prosecution look a lot weaker, I thought. But it wasn't like Making a Murderer, where at the end of it, they're like, they put that innocent kid in jail. At least I was. But I don't know. But he's been granted a new trial, so he's free awaiting that new trial, which they think he'll likely go free, apparently.
I'm just realizing now.
Yeah.
I've been thinking of Making a Murderer this whole time you've been talking.
Oh, really?
Oh, and I have a confession. I was thinking about Ted Bundy.
You were thinking about the Netflix documentary.
Which I also haven't watched.
Oh, really?
But
you haven't watched
great.
Making a Murderer?
I just know the gist.
Oh, you gotta watch
and
Making
then
a Murderer.
I heard that Serial. I'm conflating the two together.
Okay.
I got some homework to do on the drive home.
Well, that's fine. So it's just funny because I've only listened to I'm a podcaster, I guess, and I've only listened to 2 or 3 podcasts in my life, and Serial happened to be one of them. Yeah, too busy. And in general, I'm not really into podcasts.
Yeah. There's certain settings that I can listen to talking, but other settings I have to listen to music. So it depends on what I'm doing. But I really enjoy listening to talk rather than music in certain settings.
I do books instead.
I do a lot of books. I can get into books. When Mike first got me into books, I was like, I hate this. But then I realized you can turn it up to 1.5 speed, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the gas pedal in your car.
Yeah.
Those multiple speeds.
Exactly. So that was kind of
Good
cool.
analogy, right?
That was good.
It was really good. You even have a brake. It's called the pause button.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Lacking turn signals. Go on.
He's
30
out
second forward, 30 second back.
He's out of jail.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I think it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope that I always think it's a good thing when we're re-examining cases.
Yeah.
Especially if it's kind of fast. Maybe we didn't think about it hard enough the first time, which we know happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and it makes you appreciate the legal system, how it's set up, because it's like you have so much recourse as someone who's charged with something up until the time you're tried and even convicted. You can still appeal that conviction, and you can appeal all the way down the line.
I mean, would he have had this opportunity had this podcast not happened?
Some people are giving the podcast total credit.
Yeah.
For busting it wide open.
Bringing they may have hooked them up with like attorneys or something.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how it worked, but like they're definitely ones that help bring light to it.
Yeah.
Publicity, you can win the people over, and that has an influence.
Yeah, it does.
Well, at the very least, some judge who's just like burning through, sending people to jail, rejecting appeals. She's like, oh, I've heard of that guy.
Maybe I should look a little
Yeah.
harder. So, like, and that's the thing is like, if this hadn't happened, maybe he'd still be in jail, right? Even with the ability to appeal,
Right. Well,
So-
he's appealed apparently
Okay.
a bunch of times over the years, like even before the podcast. So I'm sure it's had to have done something. I mean, somebody in that process would have probably heard of it, like we were saying. But
So it's a light disagree. Sometimes it doesn't work out unless, like you said, Jeff, there's a lot of eyes on it.
Right.
yeah, it sucks. Can you imagine going to prison for 20 years?
Yeah, for not having done anything
Yeah,
wrong.
nothing.
Yeah.
Just like broke up with your girlfriend.
Horrible.
That was it.
Horrible.
Assuming that's the case.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll find out he was a
This is
killer.
all alleged at this point, right?
So anyway, today is the Lord of the Rings special. Right before this episode, we all watched together here in our studio on our
Holding hands.
79-inch
Touching feet,
massive
at least.
screen.
I will say that the projector was awesome.
Yeah, it was
great
cool, huh?
visual.
It was nice.
The aspect ratio was neat.
Yeah.
It was very wide.
Very wide. Anyway, we watched the Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, episode 2.
Yes.
Because Mike had already seen episode 1, and Jeff didn't care. So,
Yeah, I thought that Lord of the Rings was part of the Marvel universe.
oh yeah,
Is it not?
It was the 10 Ring guy, Shang-Chi.
He's
and
the Lord of the
10
Rings.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought Doctor Strange was in this one. But he's not.
You were really disappointed.
You didn't
Yeah.
see him.
There were some similarities, though. Like the guy makes tools like the troll guy on the sun in the Marvel universe.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we did talk about that.
Yeah.
So what did you think about it?
So I really enjoyed the visuals.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Very
is.
well done.
It-
It's
does
a
it-
billion-dollar visual.
It looks like $1 billion.
Except on
And-
the lift.
and the
On
music.
lift, it was not good.
The music was really great.
True.
I like the actors. Like they seem like they all did a good job.
Yeah,
Is that a good review?
I guess.
It's not very in depth.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not very critical. Either.
it looked pretty.
It looked pretty. What'd you think, Mike?
So I agree with all the things that you said. It did look great. I thought the actors were doing a good job. But story-wise, I'm just kind of like halfway there.
Halfway interested.
Halfway interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I like the dwarves.
Yeah,
I thought that's been
They
the
were
coolest
great.
part so
Yeah.
far. Like the face mask helmet things with the metal beards and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was
I
cool.
like the metal beards.
and the women didn't have beards. We found out.
Honestly, I'm glad.
What
I'm
was that
glad.
a problem?
So like
Wasn't that a joke that
that's a joke that they
Gimli
made in the movies. Well, Aragorn made the joke.
Oh.
Oh,
He's like, because of the beards.
that's right.
Anyway, I haven't seen those movies recently. I'm just putting that out there. I just have a great memory.
Yeah, you do have a great memory.
But story-wise, I'm like halfway there.
yeah,
It's like I'm not like, oh, this is terrible. But I'm not like this is the best thing I've ever eaten since 2001.
yeah. And just a little background. We were all, or maybe Jeff wasn't, I guess, but we were pretty excited about Lord of the Rings when it came
Extremely
out.
excited.
It was
about
like one of the best
Oh no,
movies.
I was totally into it. I
Oh,
love
were
it.
ya?
Yeah, but like I said earlier, I've just seen so many cartoons and
Oh, yeah.
Bob the Builder and
You can't really get
Thomas the
back
Train
into,
that
like-
I've that Lord of the Rings is just ejected out the side of my head.
Yeah.
While all these cartoons and crap are coming in the other side of my head.
yeah.
I really think next time we should just watch the movie.
Yeah, the movie. Like have
3 hours.
have the show playing in the little bubble box on the corner and then have the movie in the back. What's that called?
Let's just
Picture
get
in
rid of the
picture?
picture in picture.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
just watch
Just
the movie.
the movie?
Yeah.
Remember when that came out, picture in picture? We were
It was
like, this
amazing.
is revolutionary.
Yeah.
And
I
now
never
it's the
used
most
it.
annoying thing in the world.
And now I can watch YouTube videos on my phone while I'm also texting people.
Yeah,
apparently.
that's picture in picture.
I know, it's terrible.
But no, we and correct me if I'm wrong, but like maybe our parents' generation or a little younger than that, like Star Wars was like the biggest thing. It was big for us too, but we didn't go see Star Wars in the theater. Lord of the Rings, we were like teenagers, went to the theater.
I think you and I, Phil, I don't know how many times you went, Jeff, I don't remember, but I think you and I went like a lot of times.
Like a dozen
We paid
times.
money in the theater to watch it.
And sometimes we didn't.
And sometimes we didn't pay money.
And we saw it a bunch of times. And a quick story I just remembered about that. I think it was the second or third Lord of the Rings movie we were so excited for that I went to stand in line like crazy early in the day, like 2 p.m. for like a midnight showing or something like that. And maybe that's exaggerated, but it was...
I'm sure it's not.
It was a long time. And I think I was the first person because I had to ask the people, where do you line up for Lord of the Rings midnight showing? And they were like, I don't know, over there. so I
stand there.
I stood there for literally like 3 hours before the next person lined up. It was crazy early. And,
a true pioneer.
And when they finally let us in at like 11 o'clock or whatever it was, we ran into the theater so excited, and half the theater was full of people.
Of like VIP.
I remember you telling me
they
about
let
this.
like some corporate group or whatever in early, and I was pissed. I couldn't believe they did that. So anyway,
I was one of those VIPs, by the way.
I know. So anyway, so did you understand what was going on at all, Jeff?
It did have a story within its own show. Like, I didn't feel totally lost. Like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm not interested.
What happened in it? Can you summarize it for us?
Well, I did ask some questions, so I did get some context to what was happening. But, there's several stories like a lot of shows have. There's three. There was the pirate lady who was going to heaven and didn't make it. And then... and she's battling the tremor thing that lives in the water. So there's that story.
Yes.
That was great. She almost died, and then she didn't.
Yep.
This is a lot of spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, I like Galadriel's character. She's like super tough.
No nonsense.
Yeah.
And the
She's
acting
got a purpose.
And the acting is really good. I agree with that. But I think the pacing of the show is like slow.
It is slow.
It's like okay, get going. Come on.
But you got to remember, they're doing character developments and putting them in situations that show certain things, and they're trying to make it so that you fall in love with them.
A little more character driven.
So that towards the end, you're like totally on board.
Invested. Yeah. Does it pick up? You've cheated and gone ahead.
I've gone ahead 2 episodes, and it's about the same, but at the end of the 4th episode, it's like really ramping up.
Okay.
So hopefully and I think that's the first half of this season. So hopefully the second half is going to be like...
Yeah. And then they go into
stuff.
season 2, they can jump way more into it because people know the characters, they know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming, actually. But like the other story is the 2 not hobbits. Hobbits.
What, Harfoots?
The big feeties.
Big feeties?
Finding,
Yeah.
size 16s.
Yeah.
Those guys finding this space guy, cowboy, that's not really wearing clothes.
The wizard that
the
came
space
from space.
Jedi.
Yep, he looks like the guy from Aqualung and Jethro Tull that plays the flute. He does.
Yeah.
Don't give me a face like,
I don't know who those things are. So.
You don't know who Jethro Tull is?
Yes, I do. I just kidding.
I don't know what Aqualung is, though.
It's a song by Jethro Tull.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. But that's kind of what he looks like. So that's decent. That was a little bit of a crappy story, though, because nothing really came about it.
We don't know what's his deal.
One thing came out of it. You're like,
Dead fireflies is what came out of it.
Or,
he
we're looking
killed all
for
the
stars.
fireflies.
Yeah, I was pretty ticked about that.
Yeah. And in case you have no idea what we're talking about, Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, just ordered 5 seasons of this Lord of the Rings show, which if you've seen The Lord of the Rings, you probably have, maybe you haven't. But this is like a prequel to that. It's going to be 5 seasons. He paid like $250 million just for the rights to make the show. And apparently like another $500 million to $750 million to actually produce these seasons. So it's by far the most expensive, not even on a movie scale, it's the most expensive like media thing ever made.
I think the true test of if it was worth it is going to be when these 5 seasons are done and you put them apples to apples against 5 seasons of Bluey. Who gives a shit about which one?
Like if Bluey,
oh my gosh,
Bluey's
I love
only
Bluey
3
so much.
seasons right now.
Bluey's so good.
Isn't it so fantastic?
So good.
I don't know what it is because it literally is just like how kids play. It's like
It's so good.
there's no plot. It's just like
Yeah.
somebody watched their kids play for a day and then like let's put that in.
The
Here's a
only thing that
question.
matters is what you said at the beginning, which is it's so good. Are we going to think the same thing about this series?
Right.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I have a question. This is an aside. What's the worst episode of Bluey?
Probably all the ones I'm seeing now because I just saw them like a week ago and we're already like back through the series.
Okay.
And it's kind of like M. Night Shyamalan. Once you know, you can't go back
You
and
guys
watch it.
aren't aficionados.
I guess
Okay.
not. What-
It's the episode where they're in the movie theater and Bandit is letting the
Oh, he's like running
the
all
little
over.
one- why can't I remember her name? They're running all over and like ruining the whole movie.
Yeah, what is her name? The sister.
There's Bluey.
Brown.
Bingo.
Bingo.
Brownie.
That's right.
It's letting Bingo just run
This
rampant.
episode's called Bingo.
Yeah. So that's the worst episode because I'm like, Bandit, I don't swear on the podcast. Get your poop together.
Yeah, get your poop together.
Get your duty all together.
Get your duty together, Bandit. And it makes me uncomfortable because I imagine myself letting my child do that in a movie theater,
Yeah.
and it ramps up my heart rate.
Go ahead.
I was going to tell Mike, I don't know, because you're an aficionado of listening to this podcast, so I know you
Yeah.
heard this the
Yeah.
other week, but I'll tell you again.
Yeah.
I took my son to go see Maverick. He's 3, and
Okay.
we didn't make it through the previews,
That makes sense.
and I went home.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that story on the podcast
Thank you.
when I listened to it.
Your nose just grew 3 inches. You lion sack of duty.
No, but the ones I don't like in Bluey, and I can't remember a specific, but it's usually when they're pestering the dad, and he's like acting like annoyed, but I'm like, you would be more annoyed than you're acting in this child's show.
That is,
You'd be like, that's enough,
yeah.
because that's what I do.
Because Phil's projecting himself onto Papa Bluey.
Exactly.
So the next storyline in the show,
In Lord of the Rings.
in Rings of Power.
Ooh, and that was-
you're recapping for us. John.
The trolls, is that right?
Orcs?
The orcs, the battle axe guys that the elf went to.
In the ground?
Yeah.
In the tunnel.
What are they?
Oh, underground. I don't know. They
We don't know.
look like orcs,
They were hands.
right?
We just saw hands.
No, not the good guys with the long beards. What are they called?
Dwarves.
Oh, dwarves.
I'm sorry. Dwarves. I'm sorry.
Can't even remember dwarves.
I'm sorry. I have Bluey on the mind.
Oh,
Okay.
Anyway.
So the dwarves, when you went into their city, which was very extravagant and awesome, but
Yeah, that was cool.
seemed a little unnecessary, not a good place to build.
I'm a
underground.
fan. I'm a fan of it.
Okay.
I disagree with
Of
you.
the
You
ci-
also
of the
like
city?
You like basement bedrooms, right?
Sure.
Okay. But pretty neat. I really like that. The characters in that I fell in love with instantly.
Yeah.
The dwarfs, I really like them.
Yeah, and I believe that where they are in that underground place is the same place. It's the same mine where Gandalf fights the Balrog and gets thrust into the prison. And you'll find out that it is the case in the
It's
next
Moria?
episode. I think it is. And when I read about it, I think Moria has had like 3 different names.
Okay,
and
so-
Khazad Doom.
The guy that Elrond was talking to is Durin. And
Right.
then in the
Because the Balrog they called
Durin's Bane. Yeah.
Right. So,
Balrog is Durin's Bane. And so you might be right and I might be wrong and I owe you something.
well, and you don't owe me something because I only know I'm right because I think in the next, I'll give you a little spoiler. I think in the next episode, they actually walk across that bridge in
Okay.
there. So I
wonder if
thought it was in this
I wonder if
episode,
they're
but-
connected.
Yeah, well, and it may be that like one side of it is
One is
called one
Khazad-dûm,
thing and one
And then the other one is Moria.
because it goes like through the whole mountain.
Sure.
I don't remember. Is this the nerdiest podcast we've ever done?
Yeah. I'm growing another pair of glasses over here. It's so nerdy.
You know, my 9-year-old daughter wears fake glasses. Like she loves
fashion.
She looks good in them. Like,
Yeah.
but she loves wearing glasses for fashion.
She should get
She
LASIK.
has like forever.
She should get LASIK.
She has nothing.
Fake LASIK.
She has perfect eyes. Nothing wrong with her eyes. But she
Does
loves.
she have lenses?
They're lenses, but they're like. Crystal even like asked the people. They're like, oh, they won't hurt her eyes or anything.
Right.
They're like,
It's just clear,
clear
no
glass.
focusing. I got glasses.
oh,
Yeah.
did you?
Yeah.
Wait.
I'm not wearing them.
Just for reading or?
Oh, recently?
For working. Yeah. Like 2 months ago.
Really?
Yeah. So I think it's just I'm getting old.
Oh, you should have brought them.
And I look, I think they're in my car, but
Oh.
I'm not going to get them.
Well, I want to see
So
you
I
in
look
them.
at things and they're blurry. And I used to have like 2010 vision.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, what's on that sign?
Yeah.
And so I wear them for work. I got like the blue coating, their blue light filtering on them and everything. And
Yeah.
actually, they really have helped.
Huh.
Like my eyes don't feel as fatigued all the time.
Huh.
And I can see better.
Yeah. I was 30 when I got my glasses, and I was like, I went my whole life without glasses. Probably needed them the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, my eyes are getting lazy now, though. So things that I take them off and everything's blurry.
You know,
And
I'm
like,
not even going to try to focus on that.
well, if I take them off for like 15, 20 minutes, they start strengthening back up and I can see things a lot clearer. But it's like the laziness, my eyes get lazy. And apparently that's a normal thing that happens.
Yeah.
And the doctor told me, he's like, just don't wear them all the time. Like if you're at home walking around doing stuff, because I don't see things far away very well.
Yeah.
So he's like, if you're at home, just take it off. Just take your glasses off and just you'll be fine. And it'll help your eyes strengthen up.
Are there any glasses in Tolkien's universe?
They all have LASIK.
Oh, all of them? I was just thinking about that, like Gandalf. Like that seems like a wizardy thing to wear. Like maybe that's Dumbledore that wears glasses.
The original intention of the Eye of Sauron was to perform LASIK surgery,
Oh.
but it was gotten
That's
into
why
the
they
wrong
made it.
hands.
It's like a
And,
giant lens in front of it.
And all the trolls just spun the power things to get the laser crystals to. Never mind.
Exactly. So I'm excited for this show. I think it's been good so far. In fact, it's a prequel, and if I compared it to the Star Wars prequels, I'd give this an A+ so far. Just because it seems like at the very least it's solid. They paid attention to the acting.
There's no Jar Jar Binks.
No Jar Jar.
That's true.
It's a little slow, but I'm excited because I love the Lord of the Rings, so it provides like some backstory, some context.
And it's a nice world to like be watching.
Yeah.
Be looking at.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the whole world.
It's really pretty. They put a lot of attention to detail, so I'd recommend it.
I like
the
movie because it's pretty.
It is pretty. So yeah, check it out.
Sage
The Lord of
advice.
the Rings, The Rings of Power. We'll probably talk about it more in the future because it's Jeff's favorite subject.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
He was so excited for this episode.
I almost got sick and called in.
Yeah, but anyway, we just watched. I just had a great idea though. We just watched the whole thing and like recorded us talking over it, kind of like Mystery Science Theater 3000 or
way
whatever.
funnier though.
Yeah, but we were way funnier, and maybe we'll throw that up on Patreon.
Yeah, we could do that.
So if you want to watch episode 2, you can just turn the sound off on your TV and push play at the same time, and you'll actually get like the whole
You can
soundtrack
hear me eating chips.
with us eating and all that and
Or
talking
maybe you
about
can
the
just
show.
listen to it. That would be so
yeah.
weird.
It would
Just
be
listen
weird.
to the audio of a bit. Well, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
I'm going to do it.
yeah, that would be good.
And then my kids will be like, what are you doing? I'm like, watching a movie. Just sitting on the couch, doing nothing.
Headphones.
Yep.
Nice.
Very good. So anyway, thank you for joining us on the American Forked podcast. You can check us out on Twitter.
Patreon.com/American Forked or I don't know. That's all I know.
And Jeff says you can order a hat.
I did?
Last time
Okay.
on Spring Tea.
Let's put it this way. If you send us, I think you can. Sure.
Oh,
If something gets sent to us, we will make sure a hat
Yeah.
gets to you.
If
Is that what
you
you're saying?
email us a check, we'll Send you a hat.
An e-check.
Sure.
There's something. There's some hats to come.
But
Let's
you
just
should
say
for
that.
sure call 385-DAD-0-MUG and leave a voicemail because we're going to collect those voicemails. And we're going to play them on the show. And it's pretty fun to get them, actually.
That's right. We played one last time.
Yeah.
So.
Hi, Rhiannon.
Yeah. What up, Rhiannon?
Hey.
So anyway, well, thanks for joining us. Have a good time.
Good night.
Goodbye.